The clock had just slipped past midnight when the PhilSports Arena stopped feeling like a building and transformed into something unforgettable. More than 8,000 Filipinos filled the seats for a free public watch party. Every eye was locked on the giant screen. Every heartbeat was synchronized with one match taking place over 10,000 kilometers away at Wimbledon. Then it happened.
Thank you everybody who is here.
Alexandra Eala sealed the second set against Jasmine Paolini, 6-4, forcing a deciding set in the round of 16. The arena exploded. The roar wasn't just loud, it was historic. This is what people now call the Alex Eala effect. It's bigger than rankings, bigger than trophies, bigger than headlines. It's the power to unite an entire nation after midnight on a weekday because a 21-year-old from Quezon City was battling on the most famous tennis court in the world, fighting for a place in the Wimbledon quarterfinals. Yes, she would eventually lose the third set. Yes, she would lose the match. But somehow, the crowd became even louder. Because by then, victory wasn't measured by the final score. It was measured by belief. That moment will never appear on a tournament draw sheet. Statistics won't capture it. Rankings won't explain it. But it may become one of the defining moments in Philippine sports history. To understand why 8,000 people gathered in an arena after midnight just to watch one tennis match, we have to rewind 3 years. The setting was the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. Graduation day. Standing on stage was the Academy's most famous graduate, then world number 1 and reigning French Open champion Iga Swiatek, handing diplomas to the next generation of rising stars. One of those students was a quiet teenager named Alex Eala. Fast forward 3 years. July 4, 2026. Center Court. Wimbledon. The student stood across the net from the teacher and stunned the tennis world. Eala defeated Swiatek in straight sets, winning an unforgettable first-set tiebreak before closing the match with fearless, attacking tennis. It wasn't just another upset. It was the symbolic passing of a torch. The numbers make the achievement even more remarkable. Before Alex Eala, the highest-ranked Filipina in WTA singles history was Mary Chris Gentz, who reached world number 284 back in 1999. Today, Eala has climbed to world number 32, with reports suggesting her Wimbledon performance will push her ranking even higher. That's not simply breaking a record. That's rewriting the history of Philippine tennis. And that brings us to the biggest question surrounding her incredible rise. Are we witnessing a Cinderella story? Or are we watching the birth of a genuine tennis powerhouse? Those are two very different things. And for Filipino sports fans who have seen promising stars come and go before, that distinction matters. The Cinderella argument is understandable. She's only 21 years old. She still hasn't won a WTA singles title. Not long ago, she was ranked outside the world's top 60. Before this season, she had never made a deep Grand Slam run. If someone wanted to call this a magical moment that might fade away, the numbers leave room for that opinion. But the evidence pointing in the opposite direction is becoming impossible to ignore. Earlier this year, Eala reached a career-high ranking of world number 29, the highest ever achieved by a Filipina. She captured the Birmingham Open grasscourt title. She reached the semifinals in Berlin, defeating world number 2 Elena Rybakina along the way. She earned the opportunity to partner with Venus Williams in doubles at Bad Homburg. She arrived at Wimbledon as a seeded player for the first time in her career. And then, she defeated the defending champion on center court. That's not how Cinderella stories usually work. Cinderella shocks the world once. Alex Eala has now beaten Iga Swiatek twice in just 15 months, first in Miami, then again at Wimbledon. At some point, it stops being luck. It becomes evidence. So let's examine that evidence carefully. Not through emotion, not through hype, but by following every step of the journey exactly as it happened. The story begins back home in the Philippines. When Eala's fourth-round match against Jasmine Paolini was scheduled to start close to midnight Manila time, something extraordinary happened. The Philippine Sports Commission, together with the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority and the Philippine Tennis Association, opened the PhilSports Arena in Pasig for a free nationwide watch party. Capacity, nearly 8,000 people. And despite the late hour, the arena filled. Families, students, workers, and lifelong sports fans gathered together, waving Philippine flags and cheering as one. Because by then, Alex Eala wasn't just playing for herself anymore. She was carrying the hopes of an entire nation. This is the kind of national support you normally see for a World Championship boxing match or a gold medal basketball team. Historically, it was never something the Philippines did for tennis. And this wasn't a one-time celebration. There had already been a public watch party for Alex Eala's previous match. There will almost certainly be another when she returns for the US Open. That tells us something important. Every country loves a rising star. But this is different. Government agencies and national sports organizations are now planning around Alex Eala's tournament schedule. They're investing resources, opening arenas, organizing nationwide events. That's not emotion. That's infrastructure. That's a structural shift. Now let's go back to Saturday, July 4th. Center Court. 8:30 p.m. local time. The roof was closed. The lights were on. Across the net stood the defending Wimbledon champion. The pressure couldn't have been greater. But Alex Eala never blinked. According to the BBC, she saved 8 of the 11 breakpoints she faced, fired 24 winners against just 21 unforced errors, and finished the match with a commanding 6-2 second set. The Athletic, part of the New York Times, described the defeat as possibly the toughest loss in what had already been a difficult season for Iga Swiatek. That distinction matters. This wasn't a champion collapsing under pressure. This was a champion being outplayed. And everyone inside center court recognized it. When the final point was won, Wimbledon spectators rose to their feet. Not because she was the underdog. Not because they felt sorry for her opponent. They stood because they had just witnessed greatness. But if you really want to understand the Alex Eala effect, you have to look beyond the tennis court. A feature published by the Los Angeles Times captured something remarkable that now happens almost everywhere Eala competes. The description paints an unforgettable picture. Nurses travel from Birmingham. Engineers arrive from Berlin. Students make the trip from Melbourne. Families come from Toronto. One Philippine flag appears in the crowd. Then another. Soon the entire section is waving flags while chants in Tagalog echo around the stadium. At the Australian Open earlier this year, Filipino fans formed enormous lines outside Court 6. Not for an official match. Not for a final. Just to watch Alex Eala practice. A practice session. The court reached capacity before she even hit her first ball. Think about that for a moment. Rankings don't measure that. Prize money doesn't explain it. Even the impressive figure of more than $870,000 in prize earnings this season cannot capture what is really happening. Because the biggest story isn't only about tennis. It's about geography. Every tournament Alex Eala enters becomes, for one unforgettable week, a small piece of the Philippines. Thousands of kilometers from home. That is what legendary commentator Mary Jo Fernandez was talking about. And this is where the story stops being about one extraordinary athlete. It becomes the story of an entire nation discovering what is possible. Because there is one final statistic that changes everything. Before Alexandra Eala, the highest-ranked Filipina in the history of professional women's tennis was world number 284. That record stood for nearly 3 decades. Then Eala arrived. She climbed all the way to world number 29. A leap of roughly 255 ranking places. In a sport with more than 1,500 ranked professionals worldwide, that isn't steady progress. That's a revolution. It's a complete rewrite of what Filipino tennis believed was achievable. Searching for historical comparisons, the Los Angeles Times pointed to 2 names that transformed tennis in their own countries. Li Na of China. Sania Mirza of India. Players who didn't simply become champions. They permanently raised the ceiling for future generations. That is now the company Alex Eala keeps. Not because of hype. Not because of hopeful predictions. Because the numbers demand it. And the voices from around the tennis world are beginning to sound remarkably similar. Mary Jo Fernandez, two-time Olympic gold medalist, former Fed Cup captain for the United States, longtime ESPN analyst, and someone who has watched the evolution of women's tennis for more than 3 decades, summed it up perfectly. She called the Alex Eala phenomenon next level. She said Eala is bringing an entirely new audience into professional tennis. Think about what that means. This wasn't a Filipino journalist celebrating a hometown hero. This was one of America's most respected tennis voices telling an American newspaper that a young Filipina is expanding the global audience of the sport itself. That kind of praise cannot be manufactured. It has to be earned. And then came another powerful perspective. Speaking on BBC Sports World, veteran Filipino sports journalist and former national player Diane Castillo described what she witnessed as the match unfolded. The moment Eala stepped onto center court, social media across the Philippines erupted. Phones never stopped buzzing. Messages poured in by the hundreds. Then the thousands. Everywhere she looked, people were sharing the same feeling. Pride. Hope. Belonging. As Diane explained, every Filipino felt connected to that moment. Because for those few unforgettable hours, it wasn't just Alex Eala competing on center court. It felt like an entire nation was standing beside her. Behind every breakthrough is a process that most people never see. Since 2023, Alex Eala has been guided by veteran Spanish coach Joan Bosch. And according to the Los Angeles Times, the real mission has never been collecting victories. It's teaching a 21-year-old how to silence the noise. As Bosch explained, the goal is simple. Stay focused on the tennis. Set one clear objective. Then work relentlessly until it becomes reality. That mindset, he says, is one of Eala's greatest strengths. Even tennis legend Venus Williams noticed it. After partnering with Eala in doubles at Bad Homburg, Venus described her with just a few words. She's very competitive on the court. Coming from a 7-time Grand Slam champion, that isn't casual praise. It's recognition. Now step back and look at the bigger picture. The Philippines is home to more than 113 million people, making it one of the largest nations on earth. Yet for decades, it produced almost no presence in elite professional women's tennis. Then Alex Eala arrived. What happened at the Australian Open wasn't simply a crowd gathering around a promising player. It was something much deeper. Filipinos living in Melbourne, in Sydney, in Berlin, in Toronto, in Birmingham. Communities separated by thousands of miles suddenly found themselves united by one athlete. Many had never attended a professional tennis event before. Now they were lining up just to watch a practice session. That's the difference between a successful athlete and a cultural icon. A successful athlete represents a country. A cultural icon helps a country recognize itself. The Los Angeles Times captured that transformation perfectly. During a tournament where much of the attention was expected to focus on returning champions and established stars, the story that spread across social media, from London to Manila, from San Francisco to every corner of the Filipino diaspora, wasn't about a tennis legend. It was about a 21-year-old from a nation that had never before produced a Grand Slam 4th-round singles player. That is the Alex Eala effect. And then something equally important happened. She lost. That matters. Because pretending otherwise would only diminish what she actually accomplished. 2 days after defeating the defending champion on center court, Eala returned for her 4th-round showdown with Jasmine Paolini. Paolini claimed the opening set. Eala answered with courage, taking the second set 6-4. At that exact moment, nearly 8,000 fans inside Philsports Arena erupted in celebration. The dream was still alive. But in the deciding set, the momentum shifted. Paolini won 6-3. Alex Eala's Wimbledon journey came to an end. Yet what happened after the match may have revealed even more about her future than the victories themselves. She didn't blame the grass. She didn't blame the schedule. She didn't blame pressure or bad luck. Instead, she calmly told reporters that there were so many positives to take from the tournament. That response spoke volumes. Only months earlier, during the Australian Open, Eala admitted she had been overwhelmed by the growing attention surrounding her. By Wimbledon, that uncertainty had evolved into quiet confidence. The composure, the honesty, the refusal to create excuses. That wasn't luck. It was growth. Visible in real time. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a 21-year-old who defeated the defending Wimbledon champion on centre court, accepted defeat with grace 2 days later, and treated both moments with the same humility. It leaves us with a nation that filled an 8,000-seat arena after midnight, not just to celebrate a victory, but to stand beside one of its own until the very end. It leaves us with the old benchmark Mary Chris Gentz's world number 284 ranking from 1999 not as the destination, but as the foundation upon which Alex Eala has built an entirely new future. And perhaps the most fitting words to close this story are not ours. They are hers. Speaking to the BBC after her unforgettable victory over Iga Swiatek, Eala reflected on the journey that brought her to centre court. I went to train every day after school with my ruffled socks, light-up shoes, and chubby cheeks. To younger me, this is everything. This goes out to my family, and to all the girls with ruffled socks and chubby cheeks. It means the world. 3 years earlier, on a graduation stage in Mallorca, Iga Swiatek handed Alex Eala a certificate. On July 4, 2026, the student handed the teacher one of the biggest upsets in Wimbledon history. The crowd in the Philippines isn't going anywhere. Neither is Alex Eala. And stitched onto the visor she wears around the world are words that now feel almost prophetic. Kapag lumago, hindi na mapipigilan. Once it begins to grow, it cannot be stopped. If this journey inspired you, make sure to subscribe and join us for the next chapter. Because the US Open is just around the corner. And Alex Eala's story is only getting started.